Hello everybody and welcome back to the Tamiya truck build. Anyway, yes, what we've done in the time lapse you've just seen is we have started to build the gearbox, and actually it's not too far off completion providing I've done it right. So you can see the gear shifter all seems to work as it should do as far as I'm aware. I've never built one of these before. I know that you can get different motors for them, but I'm going to keep this as a fairly stock build just because it's the first one I've ever done and I don't really want to be customising stuff at this stage. I do want to build another one of these very soon, but I might do a trailer first. But if I do another truck, then I will definitely be modifying it prior to building it, well, buying the modified parts prior to building it, such as an improved motor, the bearings instead of the bushes, so basically things to not only make the performance better but also to prolong the life of the radio controlled vehicle, because these things are really out of the category of toys. They are hobby grade, they're pretty professional things, so I can totally understand why a lot of people would like to go for the upgrades, and I will definitely be doing that in the next build. Anyway, let's continue with today's episode. What we need to do is we need to get the motor put onto this side. We also need to get the I don't know what it's called actually. It's the joint cup. Yeah, I'd never have guessed that. Joint cup, which is this one just here. It is essentially a cup which you join stuff to. But yes, that is required there. Also, MC7, which is a very small spacer. I've already taken that one off the thing, so that's going to be used. And of course we have got the notice here. Notice about not using the other included grub screws to use these ones here. I'm assuming, I think they're longer. They're longer. It's twice the length. Crikey. There must have been an issue with it undoing or something, or not quite tightening it properly, or possibly putting the wrong amount of pressure on different parts. Now this thing likes to ooze. I did not want to put that on my hand, but I had no choice. It does indeed like to ooze. As soon as you open it up, it always seems pressurized, even if you don't squeeze it. Anyway, yes, that needs to be basically Loctited onto there. Should be 2 grip screws in here, along with the 2 free staples which we always receive. put them in the bin, keep the grub screws nice and safe, and we need to of course put these onto here. So I think they actually do go on fairly simply. Put the spacer on first, and then just put that in there, and then put the grub screw onto the flat side. So you've got a flat side in here, it's not all perfectly round. So I don't know if to put the Loctite in first or to Loctite the actual thing. I might put it in first, or I could do both, I suppose. It's just if it's already in the hole, that was way too much. If it's already in the hole, then it can't exactly not go in. There should be a tool for this too. Here it is. Okay, you have to excuse the fairly atrocious view. Well, it turns, obviously. That makes it tricky. Seems to have gone straight in the thread though, which is fantastic. I don't think you'll be able to see that. It does, it protrudes out quite a long way. Trying not to break anything. It's interesting. It doesn't come off though. It's a vast improvement. But yeah, it does, it protrudes out the end there. I'm guessing it doesn't matter. I'm guessing there's nothing which could actually catch on that. There must be a reason for obviously giving these longer grub screws. So that is done. We do have some other things to put on the outside of the shifter rod. Just some more E-clips, I believe, or C-clips or whatever. And we also need to put another steering ball joint on this end, which is what the servo will indirectly attach to. And I think we should probably do the motor first. We'll put the motor on. So if I can just locate it, I did put it away. I'm at risk of knocking the camera here. Here we go. So it does say to remove the rubber tubing, which again I would say is easier said than done, except with pliers, which is dead easy. Basically a protector. And yeah, you can see we've got the 2 screw holes on each side, and then it's going to basically go on there. It does have various different parts. We've got what seems to be gasket paper. I can't see any other material this could be. Feels just like gasket paper. And we also have a gear which will transfer drive from the motor into the gearbox, and this is where the other grub screw goes. That's why we had 2 grub screws, which again takes the longer one. So which one do we have to put on here first? I think we do put this gear onto the end of that. I'm not sure yet if it goes directly on the end. It looks like it does do. That should clear that. Yep. So again, there is, it's funny, I'm sure there should be some kind of spacer. MA12 is a washer. It does not suggest that there is a spacer. It's interesting. It's very, very interesting, because it's not going to really work. But who am I to say? I've never built one before. Let's just, does it say to Loctite it? Oh, it doesn't. I guess you could do it anyway though, but as it doesn't suggest it, I probably shouldn't do it. Interesting. I really did think that you would have to, but again, I can't really argue. I'm in no position to argue. So if I just put this grub screw in, it doesn't actually have to be on to begin it, to actually start it off. Easier doing it this way. And as soon as it starts to get in the way, you can go on. Maybe you just don't push it on all the way. Still, I can give it a go and I can adjust it later if necessary. Okay, so yeah, it's sticking out a long way again. As you can see, GoPros don't really like having things shoved up right in front of the lens. It all goes out of focus. But it isn't going to come off. It's definitely not going to come off. It's moving only the internal. You've got the play inside. as you would do with an engine. Crankshaft end plate. So yeah, we'll put this gasket paper sort of stuff on here, which interestingly appears, again I'm not an expert, but it appears to block what look to be vents. I don't know if they are. I think somebody, when I first mentioned this a year ago or something, I think somebody mentioned then that the motors had some kind of overheating issue. I'm not sure. I really can't remember. It's so long ago. But we'll see. We'll see if it overheats. I think that's not right, is it? No. That's right. That's perfect. You can see it's all in line. It's all lined up. So this time, I think we do just put this through here, and then it should just bolt onto there, I guess. And looking at it, only a section of the gears are actually meshing, so I think it is actually set too far in, but that can be adjusted even when it's fitted. So I'll get it fitted, I will get it on there, and then we can go from there really. One of the sides is adjustable as well, so you can adjust the height and possibly the tension of the motor against the plastic gear. So as you can see, it actually is, as it suggests, to allow it to run smoothly, and I think it is doing. However, I wouldn't really, although it is mostly meshing to its full width, as there is a bit over, well, not actually touching the gear, I think we should just adjust it so that it's got all of the what is it made from? I'm not too sure actually. Bronze gear onto the plastic gear. Very simple to do, so I'm really not concerned about doing it. Put that up to there. Hopefully that's in a good place, and then just tighten it up. But of course, yeah, tighten it up really tight. This is why I was a little bit concerned about not putting any Loctite on, but that, as you can see, is perfect from what I can tell. If we turn that, probably shouldn't do it, but you can see it's working. So that is that piece done. I hope I haven't missed nothing. I don't think I have done. So yeah, the gearbox is really coming together here. Next we have got some different parts. We've got this this ball joint, which I'll just put over here. There is another part somewhere, which I've actually just seen. I did put it in a safe place. This is the problem. My safe places are too safe. Even I can't find them. There it is. An extremely safe place, directly in front of my eyes, on a piece of paper. So this goes onto the end of here. It actually crosses over both these shafts. I don't think there is a spacer between, although it does have a dreaded C-clip or E-clip. Again, we have got some adjusted or some modified E-clips, which are in this extra kit. I do find doing it with the long nose pliers the easiest method, so I'll do it again, but sometimes it can bend it since it is pushing it at a funny angle. Ow. Or it just knocks it off completely. Bear with me, I'll be some time. Okay, so that is on. I've got two E-clips fitted. That goes onto there, not that you can really see. That's the issue with this camera angle, but I can't really change it. And then we actually have this this ball joint, and it screws. I guess you would have seen better if I hadn't put the motor on first, but it screws into here. Or actually, I can show you it now because I don't even need to put it on to just screw it in partially. Yeah, so it does. It goes into there. It also acts as like a locker, so I can't tighten it fully at this stage. And then I've got this tool here just to basically snug it up, but it's got a different size. Which one is it? the last one I go to. Yes, that's typical. Okay. That is pretty much there. There we go. I always worry about over-tightening, because obviously if you over-tighten, you can strip the threads out and then, well, it's a disaster. You can rethread, but it's just a really slow procedure. Anyway, that, from what I can gather, is done. I think there's nothing else there. Nope. Okay. So, we can move on to part number 25. I don't think I need this notice about the grub screws. No, it only says to Loctite the joint cup grub screw, so we're fine. Anyway, yeah, this is the more exciting bit, because this is easy, I hope. Probably something I should never say before doing it. But we have got to put on the gearbox housing, which should be fairly self-explanatory anyway. One piece. I haven't even checked the numbers, you know, it's just I'm going by the looks. It should be B1 and 2. B1 and B2. Wow, what were the chances? Okay, that can go in the bin. Try and just get rid of some of these sharp edges. Did I hit the camera? I'm not sure, it just pinged off. Need a file or something, really. Although, for this, it doesn't really matter if there's any sharp edges. Right, so we're going to need quite a few BA4s. These are 8mm screws in the BA pack. I think it's these. 8mm, that is indeed 8mm. So we've got loads of these already across the table. Oh, that's not the same. Hang on, wait. Is it? Yeah, it's standard screw, isn't it? Not a self-tapping. Well, I thought there were quite a few out here, but it seems there isn't. That's one. The others are all self-tapping. Right, where's the BA bag? That's the BC bag. You can't see though. I'm starting to accumulate litter. Let's put that in the bin. BA, where have I put them? BC, BA is the one that's not here. Fairly typical. BA, that'll do nicely. So I'll try and find them in here. They're not super long. In fact, there's not many of them left. Is it just the 4? I think so. I know, 5 maybe. I think it's 5. Try and find another one. I'm not sure if these are varying in length, but they might be. Yeah, so, I don't know. No, they are the same. I think I'll just measure once more for good measure. Yep, that's 8. Okay, that's perfect. Looks like I had just about enough. Hopefully we don't require any more. We also need the BA1s. Making use of the BA bag. These are these very small nuts, which I think we only need 2 of. So there we go. And, oh no, sorry. We need 4. 5. They are the opposite of that. Well, I haven't got 5. Oh, great. I've probably lost them. I've got 3. Yes, I have 3, so the others are on the table here somewhere. Oh, there we go, perfect. Good. That must be everything there then. So what we can do now is hopefully put all this together, enclosing it in. Oh, that is a snug fit, that is nice. Look at that. That is seriously nice. And I guess you don't even see it most of the time. So now the inspecting is done, we can start to put these in here. I'll do 2 at a time. Do they need to be Loctite? No, they don't. Okay. I'll put them all in loosely to begin with, and then I can tighten them all up. And there we go. It is done. And I think it's looking very nice. I think it really does finish it off nicely. I just don't want to miss nothing. That's my real concern, because obviously we now enclosed it all. It wouldn't be hard to get back into it, but then obviously when you start to mount stuff, the further you go, the harder it's going to be to rectify an issue, especially if I've made a mistake with the gearing. If I have, then it's a disaster, but hopefully it's not going to happen. So what we need to look for is, I did actually see it just before this video, this piece just here, which is the gearbox shifter rod. We also have these pieces just here. I'm not entirely sure the reasons why we have 3, possibly one is just a spare. I think it is. I think it's a spare. So yes, we will just get these off here. Let's try and trim it down a bit. There we go. And then we have to measure it, but I'll just very, very loosely for the time being screw it on. Hopefully it screws on with ease. Right, that one is going on very easily. I won't go too far, just in case I go beyond the recommended screwing length. And then when these are measured up, we'll be on to part number 27, which is gearbox installation, which should be any minute actually. Right, so this is when we need to have another ruler, of course, or the ruler. That one points upwards, that one points downwards. That is pretty much in the right position, but is it the right length? We should have 17mm between there and there. Amazingly, we do. I don't know how that's happened. And 9mm between there. Okay, that's a bit different. It's not 9. It's 8. So that should put it a bit too tight. Maybe one turn will sort that out. Hopefully it will do. Well, that has certainly, extended it. It's pretty much there if it's not there exactly. I fear if I go all the way around again, it's going to be like 10mm. So I think that is going to be as good as we're going to get it. And I don't know how actually strict it is, but it's doing it to the millimetre, so it must be fairly strict. Anyway, yes, we need to do the gearbox installation, which of course means bringing back the chassis. Here it is. We have not seen it for a while. I mustn't cover over the book because I can't actually see. I would say, in fact it is. That gearbox is heavier than the entire chassis at the moment. Now it mounts. We've got the front over here. Sorry, the back over here. That's the back. And then we've got the front here. It goes at the front. Sort of like this somewhere. Somewhere like that. I'm not entirely sure where just yet. Although that might have been pretty much in the exact place. Let me just see here. Well, something's not right there because I've definitely not got it in the right place. But I think it just needs to be readjusted, so again, bear with me. Now from what I can tell, that is in place correctly. it was a little bit hard to get it in that position. The motor doesn't seem to actually clear one of these pieces just in front of the servo, and it's definitely the right way around because it's actually got a curve. It's got a notch taken out of it for the motor, but it still doesn't give it enough space. It's like a millimetre too big or too far that way, but it's in these holes, and well, there's no more for it to go into. It's also corresponding to the manual, so I don't know. I don't know if it's I don't know if the motor's just not really that good, or like, I don't know if the better motors are slightly smaller, or I don't know. I've no idea. But it's in. It's not going to come out or anything. That's the most important thing. So all we need to do now, probably easier said than done, is to adjust and fit the rod, the shift rod. So, yes, this is the tricky bit. No, I don't know. It might be fairly self-explanatory actually. It's just gaining access. I guess that could have been done first. Almost on. There we go. Dead easy. Good. And that goes through that perfectly, and that clips on there perfectly. I've done something right. It's a miracle. Until somebody goes and tells me in the comments that I've done the entire thing wrong, which might happen. Right, let's move on swiftly. We have the prop shaft. Just here. This needs to run underneath, so I'll flip it over. And it runs obviously between the rear differential and the gearbox. We do have this notch taken out of here, so that should allow us to actually be able to fit this into place fairly easily. Looking at this, it kind of suggests to put that in first, but actually, yeah, you're right. It does. Although, yeah, basically. Okay, so there we go. It's all done. The prop shaft is in, and everything is turning over very smoothly with the gearbox. So from what I can see, this is all very good news. Obviously, if you do comment and mention anything I've missed or done wrong, then I'll be reading the comment, but I'll have already finished the project, so I will have already found the problem if there is one. So anyway, thank you for watching, and I'll see you again very soon. Bye for now.